Have you ever been so lost in thought that you forgot you were driving? Or so focused on a task that you didn't hear that someone said your name? This video will examine the three-network model of cognition, how it functions, and some implications for how drugs can switch that attention. Each of these networks can engage cognition in complex ways on its own depending on which parts are most active. And in future videos, we'll explore each of these in depth. These three networks are the default mode network, which we might nickname the dreamer, the task positive network, which we might nickname the doer, and the salience network, which we might nickname the switchboard. Let's start with the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that's responsible for self-cognition. It's what's active when we're daydreaming, thinking about our future, or even thinking about our moral values or our identity. This is the part of your brain where your ego lives. We might think of this like a screensaver for your brain. It's what's active when you're not doing anything in specific. A hyperactive default mode network has been linked to depression and rumination. Drugs can change how active our default mode network is, or even the way parts of our default mode network speak to each other. This is the part of our brain that's responsible for building our internal narrative of the outside world, telling us a singular story that threads together all of the complex parts of our environment. It's where our moral beliefs live, where our identities are formed, and it's responsible for memory recollection and the reshaping of that memory as a result of social interaction. Listening to a story together creates synchronicity in the default mode network of all participants. On the opposite side, we have the task positive network, which is sometimes called the central executive network. Here is where our focus lives, our working memory, and complex problem solving. When you're doing your taxes or playing Sudoku or learning a new skill, this is the part of the brain that is active. If you've ever been in a flow state, what that means is that your task positive network is incredibly active and your default mode network is quiet. The task positive network can be synchronized through shared tasks together. So a sports team or a band or even your coworkers can have shared task positive network function. You can enter into flow states with other people. This allows us to engage in complex behaviors together that allow us to do complex shared tasks. Drugs like coffee can create activation in the task positive network, which allows us to use them to become more productive, but also to ritualize their consumption and share that task positive network activation. This is why the coffee house can readily and easily become the shared workspace. Mirroring and synchrony are both crucial aspects of the task positive network. In most cases, the default mode network and the task positive network function like a seesaw. When one is up, the other is down. When the other is up, the one is down. Which means we need a third network that's responsible for deciding which should be active and when. This third network is the salience network. Its job is to pay attention to everything going on around us and inside of us and decide which are the most important things at this given moment to pay attention to. So a loud noise might trigger our salience network to perceive a threat in our environment and draw our attention externally. Or perhaps a reward, like our lunch sitting in front of us, may quiet that default mode network and say, now is the time to eat. We might think of the salience network as an air traffic controller. It takes a complex environment and signals which parts should be paid attention to at any given moment. The salience network is also shaped by social activity. For example, when we watch a film together and discuss it afterwards, the actions shape how our salience network processes the events. Our attention can be shaped by social cues, which may increase or decrease in relevance certain aspects of our environment. For example, a loud noise might draw our attention, but the explanation from a friend that that loud noise is nothing to be alarmed about may make it be less alarming in the future. Commemoration, telling stories, processing trauma together, all of these change and shape the way our salience network pays attention to our environment. And remember that salience network calibrates how the default mode network and the task positive network are called to attention at various times. For example, identity may in part be what different people are attuned to in their environment. For example, women telling the stories of consequences of the anger of the men in their lives might shape collectively the way that women look for subtle cues of anger in the facial expressions, gestures, or voices of the men around them, in ways that men might not become attuned to for other men. The drugs we take can interact with these networks in complex ways. We've discussed previously, for example, how painkillers change the way our salience network operates, making us pay less attention to our headaches or sore muscles. But that lack of attention comes at a cost, as the salience network also fails to draw attention to emotional pain that may become the core of empathy for other people. Relatedly, many neurodivergent people experience a salience network that's just overtuned, so that every sound in the environment or every possible alert triggers the salience network to pay attention and switch tasks, leading to rapid changes in which part of the brain is active that can become exhausting and lead to burnout. It can also mean that the default mode network comes to feel like a necessary sanctuary. The successful interaction of these three networks is crucial to our existence in a modern, complex world. A well-functioning salience network, for example, helps us pay attention when we need to, but also allows our mind to wander when the tasks in front of us are not particularly complex, allowing us to introspect or even plan for the future. A well-functioning default mode network allows us to adapt and change to our environment, changing our moral views, allowing us to think about our own identity, and allowing us to change the story that we tell about the world around us and our place within it. When this story of the world effectively matches our environment, it allows us to become more grounded and more confident in our own choices and actions. The task positive network, interacting well, allows us to accomplish our daily tasks without getting distracted by our own idle daydreams or getting stuck inside of our own minds. Keeping these networks well functioning and adapted to the environment around us requires the use of routines, the help of others, and yes, drugs that we consume to keep us in tune to the ebbs and flows of daily life. A disruption in any of these, in our daily routines or our social environments or the drugs that we consume, may make us feel out of rhythm of life. Understanding how these networks function and how to give them a tune-up when we feel that they're not functioning well is a crucial part of learning to adapt to and live in an increasingly complex world.